Government regulation plays a central and often underappreciated role in reducing pesticide risks, acting as the primary safeguard between agricultural necessity and public health. While no regulatory system is flawless, the presence of safety standards, routine testing, and enforcement mechanisms has dramatically reduced the likelihood of acute pesticide harm compared with past decades. Viewed positively, regulation provides a structured, science-based framework that continuously adapts as new evidence emerges, offering layers of protection that most consumers never see but benefit from daily. At the foundation of pesticide regulation are safety standards that govern which chemicals can be used, how they are applied, and how much residue is legally permitted on food. Before approval, pesticides typically undergo extensive toxicological testing, including assessments of cancer risk, reproductive toxicity, neurodevelopmental effects, and environmental persistence. Regulators use this data to establish acceptable daily intake levels and maximum residue limits that incorporate large safety margins. These margins are intentionally conservative, designed to protect vulnerable populations such as children even when exposure occurs over long periods. While debates continue about whether these margins are always sufficient, their existence represents a major advance over unregulated or loosely controlled pesticide use. Testing protocols form the second critical pillar of regulation. Many countries operate national monitoring programs that regularly sample fruits and vegetables from farms, markets, and points of import. These samples are analyzed for hundreds of pesticide compounds using increasingly sensitive laboratory techniques. The positive impact of this surveillance is twofold. It identifies violations that can be corrected or penalized, and it creates a powerful deterrent effect that encourages producers to comply with rules. Over time, this has led to measurable reductions in both the frequency and concentration of illegal residues in many regulated markets. Enforcement mechanisms give these standards real-world impact. When residues exceed legal limits, regulators can issue recalls, block imports, impose fines, or revoke licenses. These actions not only remove problematic products from circulation but also signal expectations across the industry. In countries with strong enforcement capacity, producers and exporters are acutely aware that noncompliance carries economic consequences. This awareness drives investment in better application practices, safer alternatives, and training programs for farmers, all of which reduce overall risk. Variation between countries highlights how regulation shapes outcomes. Regions such as the European Union tend to apply more precautionary standards, banning or restricting pesticides earlier and setting lower residue limits. Other countries, including the United States, may allow a broader range of chemicals but compensate with extensive monitoring and enforcement. In both cases, the regulatory presence itself is a key protective factor. Where regulation is weak or inconsistently enforced, higher residue violations and unsafe practices are more common, underscoring the importance of governance rather than geography alone. International coordination further strengthens regulatory effectiveness. Many countries align their standards with international bodies such as the Codex Alimentarius Commission, which helps harmonize residue limits and testing methods. This coordination reduces trade conflicts while raising baseline safety expectations globally. Exporters targeting regulated markets often adopt higher standards than those required domestically, indirectly improving practices in producing regions. From a positive perspective, regulation in one country can therefore elevate safety beyond its borders. Another encouraging aspect of modern regulation is its capacity for evolution. As scientific understanding of cumulative exposure, endocrine disruption, and vulnerable populations improves, regulators update guidelines, restrict problematic chemicals, and refine risk assessments. Advances in analytical technology also mean that testing is becoming more comprehensive and transparent. Public reporting of monitoring results increases accountability and builds trust, allowing consumers to see how well systems are functioning rather than relying on assurances alone. Importantly, regulation does not operate in isolation. It complements consumer behavior, agricultural innovation, and market demand for safer food. Clear standards create incentives for the development of lower toxicity pesticides, integrated pest management strategies, and organic farming systems. Over time, this shifts the entire agricultural landscape toward risk reduction rather than simply policing bad actors. The most positive conclusion is that government regulation, despite its imperfections, has been one of the most effective public health interventions in food safety. It reduces extreme exposures, identifies emerging risks, and provides a framework for continuous improvement. While vigilance and reform are always necessary, especially in a globalized food system, strong regulatory oversight remains a powerful ally in protecting health. When supported by science, transparency, and enforcement, government regulation transforms pesticide risk from an unmanageable threat into a challenge that can be monitored, mitigated, and progressively reduced over time.